So I don't know how many takes I'm gonna have to do, but this is the final one. All right. All right. Pan-Europeanism is dead. I'll repeat it. Pan-Europeanism is dead. D-E-D, dead. Dead on arrival. DOA is done. Is finished.
But focus on strengthening their consistent application. Let me conclude, and this becomes difficult.
So we've seen it, right? A grown man crying in front of a whole crowd of people, knowing it's being recorded, at a security council of all things, Like this is supposed to be a meeting of folks who are very sensitive, but not that kind of sensitive. Like they're supposed to be, hardened, like ex-military type folks that are at these kind of conventions. Like those are the minds that you really need to be at those conventions, and definitely to be the ones that are speaking about something, right? Like you can't have a mental breakdown off of something that seems pretty simple. It's really all about interest, and I've never seen any black person break down on a stage like that, something like that important. All the shit we going through, like all the exploitation. I've never seen Mugabe cry on the stage. He might have. I just haven't seen it. I've never seen, any of our heroes. A lot of them who were assassinated, break down because of, the white man continues to try to run the game, play it the same way, and keep begging and pleading with them to change. I never seen that. But the United States has one president that's like, you know what, Europe, you got to pay your fair share of the NATO bill, and we're not going to help you. We're not going to fight. We're not going to put our troops on the ground and fight and have your back using Article 5 of NATO, right? With attack on one and attack on all. Excuse me. We're not going to be there to, defend y'all like that. We're going to rework out what our alliances really are and how it's going to operate, like reorganize all that, like heavily reorganize it. Because we just have different interests at this point. The country with this president, like my sister hates me saying it, but I don't like Trump, but I love what he's doing with certain things, right? And he's waking the world up, right? The world is bigger than the United States. It really shouldn't be. It's a spilled milk incident. You shouldn't really be crying over it. Zelensky's not crying over it. Like, the guy's making money. Yeah. So anyhow, I'm about to play a video. I don't remember whose platform it is, but you'll see it. And she'll introduce herself, right? Just trying to keep it brief. Parking lot pimping. I see all y'all that are putting out content. You do inspire folks, and you are greatly appreciated and needed. Until we can get our own platform and get rid of this shit too. Yeah, so I'm playing the clip.
Welcome back to World Affairs in Context, everyone. As negotiators from Russia and the United States are meeting this week in Saudi Arabia to begin discussing a possible end to the conflict, Donald Trump indicated that although he's very much interested in finding ways to stop the proxy war, Washington may continue providing limited aid to Ukraine as negotiations begin. Securing access to Ukraine's natural resources is an important part of the deal to Trump, who has already said that the United States had spent $300 billion on the conflict so far. Donald Trump told Fox News that Ukraine had, quote, essentially agreed. Those are his words. He said Ukraine had essentially agreed to hand over $500 billion. So Zelensky agreed to sell what's left of Ukraine for $500 billion.
We are going to be asking for the security, and we've already told him, of an equal amount of something where our money, I mean, the American taxpayers in for $300 billion. Biden never negotiated. He never told Europe to put in more money. And it got out of hand, just like NATO. NATO, we were paying almost 100% of NATO when I first came in. Everybody was taking advantage of the good old United States, but not anymore.
During the Munich Security Conference last week, Zelensky was presented with a draft of the agreement on natural resources on those rare earth minerals that I discussed in great detail in one of my recent videos. I will link it in the description below. Zelensky rejected that proposal, and he reportedly returned the draft with his amendments, citing a lack of security guarantees offered to Ukraine in the original document. In reality, however, Zelensky was shocked because the terms offered by the United States are normally imposed on aggressor states defeated in war. They are, in fact, worse than the financial penalties that were imposed on Nazi Germany and Japan after the Soviet Union and its allies defeated them in 1945. Zelensky might finally understand that not only did he single-handedly destroy an entire country, an entire nation, facilitated the death of millions of Ukrainians and Russians, but also he's now on the hook for trillions of dollars in Ukraine's natural resources. For context, Germany's reparations were close to $400 billion over a span of 66 years. What Trump is offering to Zelensky is absolutely worse. Trump is offering an impossible deal that will colonize generations. So what is the Trump administration after in Ukraine? Let's take a closer look. The Trump administration is seeking 50% of revenues from resource extraction. This includes minerals, oil and gas, and 50% of new licenses sold to third countries. For all future licenses, the United States will have a right of first refusal for the purchase of exportable minerals. And if it refuses to purchase them at a favorable to them price point, Ukraine will then be allowed to sell these resources to other trade partners. The second important point that I would like to draw your attention to of this proposal that was made by the United States is gaining effective control of critical sectors. This includes full control over infrastructure, energy, and strategic minerals. The third important point of the proposal is the creation of a reconstruction investment fund. According to the Telegraph, its goal is to deepen the partnership between the United States of America and Ukraine. Now, if you exploit an entire nation, that is by default not a partnership, it is exploitation. We've learned that very well over centuries in Africa when Western colonial powers, the United States, Great Britain, Germany, Belgium, and France, even Italy, even though Italy was a bit late to the party, but still even Italy, they exploited African countries by extracting and then exporting raw materials at dirt cheap prices processing those materials, and then turning around and selling finished goods to those impoverished African nations at 2 or 3 times the cost. And so that cycle continued for centuries. That is effectively the goal with Ukraine. It is a neo-colonial imperial ask, it's a neo-colonial imperial demand that no nation should ever agree to, because this is the burden for all future generations. Whether or not Zelensky will agree to it remains to be seen, of course. Ukraine should hold democratic elections because given that Zelensky's term expired in May of 2024, it has almost been a year. I'm sure that his authority to agree to something of this scale could be easily challenged. At least it should be. Let me know what you think about the terms of this deal in the comments below. As always, I would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Remember to show your support. It goes a long way. Like, subscribe, and share. And check out my alternative social media channels. You will find them linked in the description below. I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day.